Good evening, good people. I am Randy Farino Wayne Jr. I go by Randy Farino. Well, it's evening where I am. I'm in Mississippi. Uh, Hello to you all, my classmates, my teachers. I teach at Meridian High School, again in Meridian, Mississippi, and I teach theater one, theater two, and I teach a theater production class. This is my second year teaching theater full time. But I've been teaching theater with the drama club and taking the students to competition for the past um 10 years, I think, like 9 or 10 years, since like 2016 or 2015. However, my background is in music education. And then did so well with theater, they were like, please do theater. And they had me doing both. So now I'm actually assistant band director and theater instructor. Nonetheless, I want to kind of like really dive into theater so I can do some of the things I want to do and then get that master's in it. So that's why I'm at the W. I am loving the W. Now, it's a little rigorous, It's whew, it keep you on your toes, but I'm learning so much that I didn't know and learning a lot of different techniques that honestly I was sometimes implementing, but I'm getting a chance to implement some more. And that is not what this video is about. So let's just hop into what we're doing. We're talking about resources. With the resources, my first resource that I want to hop into, I have two of them. I know you all are probably going to see this book and be like, that book is ancient. And maybe it is ancient. However, I love it. It's a gem for me. The Stage and the School. This is my first resource. Now listen, if you have any beginner classes, I know it may look outdated, but I'm a textbook type of person anyway. But if you have any beginner students, like I said, theater one, even just beginner students in production, this is a great book. And I even taught a summer class with this book before. It is an awesome book. And it starts out, and I like this book because it gets straight to the point time it starts out. It goes right into improvisation. The crazy thing about it is before I got this book, I used to start my teaching with improvisation just to kind of loosen the kids up. And so I was like, I need some resources, I need some more stuff. I don't even know if I'm doing it right. And so when I grabbed I substituted in Birmingham one time. This was like way before I started teaching. And so the teacher, she just gave me her book and I took it and I said, let me go pull the book out I got from Birmingham. And I pulled it out and I was immediately able to start teaching class with no problems. It kind of guides you through everything. Like I said, it starts out with improvisation and it goes into it has like the different warm-up games in there and the different like little activities. And I love activities and games. Of course, students love activities and games. They do not like being bored. Now I do the lecture stuff and all of that so they can make sure they have the meat and the content of it all. But I get a chance to teach all of that really quickly, and then it's straight to the point, but it has details. It has a lot of details with it, just enough to kind of like, okay, I understand. And then you get to the games, and they love the little improvisation games where you freeze, and then the one where you play the ABC game and they give you different scenarios and you can kind of take the scenarios that they give you and just kind of run with it. So I love that portion of it. And then it goes straight into pantomime. And then after that chapter, it goes into our voice and diction, I think it is. And so like dealing with projection and all that stuff. So anyway, even the flow of the book and how, the different chapters and how they come out each other and how they're relevant and how it leads you into the next chapter is awesome as well. Like I said, and the other textbooks probably do the same thing, but this is the one for me. I have another edition there too. I actually, surprisingly, after I got the one in Birmingham, when I got started teaching here at Meridian High School, they had a classroom set of these. I never used the classroom set because these are so user friendly. Like you can grab just, and I have a teacher's edition also. I don't even use that. I may refer to it here and there, but this book right here, this just a student book, is so again user friendly. Kind of gets to the point and gives you some information. I don't really need that, and so I don't really like to pass out the textbooks unless I just have to. Only because students they see the text be like, oh Lord, another textbook, and it kind of the brain just kind of shuts down. So I normally get my book and I just teach from the book myself, and then they'll take notes, and then we just hop into the activity. So they don't know what the activities. They just know we're going to do some improvisation. We're going to do pantomime. We're going to do, facial expression. We're going to do body movement. So again, it's an awesome book. It also has another thing. Reason I like it because it has monologues. It has monologue and dialogue scenes and group scenes, and they're awesome. Some of my kids have won. So we have this thing in Mississippi called the Mississippi Theater Association. Awesome. If you ever got to get a chance to come to it, you need to check it out. Mississippi does great theater. And so the first year they hosted it was at USM. The second time they hosted, surprisingly, we were at the W, and my students won some awards there And the monologues and dialogue scenes came from this book. And like I said, they have monologues for males, for females, for male and female. They have dialogue scenes for two females, dialogue scenes for two males, group scenes. So it's just awesome. I love it. Um, yes, and okay, so it's affordable. I saw it online. It might be $4. I think it was like 4.95. I'm trying to, not speak Ebonics or with with a Southern vernacular, so excuse me, but it is about 4.95. I think the cheapest I saw it. Of course, I already had one, but again, if you just want something where if you're a beginner or you don't know what you're doing or you kind of lost in the sauce and your students are beginners, this will put you in the game, the stage and the theater. Seventh edition. Um, my other resource is now I got into theater and acting through, of course, church and school plays and stuff like that. But with church, it was the Easter speeches and the uh, Christmas speeches and things of that nature. And so, of course, they were poems, and you get your Easter poem or your Christmas poem, and you go in front of the church and you recite it. Of course, there's rhyme schemes and all kind of stuff. So my mom and dad and my grandmother would not let me go up there and do anything less than superior. So that's how poetry. I said that to say poetry is how I got into acting, and then of course, it went into the dialogues and the stage plays and things like that. So my next resource is a poetry book, a book of poems, and this is by Langston Hughes, and it's selected poems. Now he has a plethora of poems out there, a plethora of books. However, this kind of picks like some of his greatest poems, some of his best poems, and it kind of compiled them all into this book. I got it. Well, matter of fact, my original one is at home at mom's house. I won several poetry competitions with poems from this book. Every time I got a chance to get into a poetry competition, I always grab this book and I always win some type of award. But I saw it online the other day. I still have my original, and then I ended up getting another one at a book fair one time. So that's what this one is. But I wanted to buy another one, so I bought another one and it was like maybe $5 tops, maybe like 5.95. That was the cheapest I saw that on Walmart. You can buy it from Walmart. I'm sure they have it on Amazon or whatever the case is. It has a lot. I mean, a lot of awesome, not great, awesome, superior poems in this book. And of course, I teach in 91.6 or 91.1, something like that, African American school district. I started out with some of Langston Hughes' poems. We did Ballad of the Landlord, and then we did It Is Hilarious, and then we did Ballad of the Man Who's Gone. We did Madam and Her Madam, and it was one other poem we did. I was frustrated, very short and to the point. But and then we did Freedom Train. Of course, I've been named all the poems in the whole book if I keep going. However, this is a great book, and once we got finished with these, we're now flowing into um monologues and dialogue scenes. But I think poetry is a great way to kind of ease into that, because it's more so just like interpreting. You can still do your facial expressions and all of that jazz without having to get too complex into the mental aspect of it. But you have to break down and you kind of like I said, analyze the poem in order to get the meaning of it. So once you figure out how to analyze the poems and get the meanings of that, when you get a dialogue or a monologue scene, it's the same thing. Basically the same thing, it just kind of, take it up a notch. So again, these are my two resources. I never start the school year without these two books. Now, of course, I have a lot of other resources as well that I get just from my theater friends and from different things that I've learned from workshops and things of that nature. But I never start the year off without this book, and I never stay in these two books. And this book is so good. My students were like, "Mr. Wayne, we're gonna get some more poems. What about this poem? What about that poem?" I'm like, well, we can't stay on poems forever. But um, but we do quite a few poems out of here, and of course they do love this. But they like pull out the red book so we can do some more improvisation and some more pantomime and get some more activity. Something like they love this book. I love this book. They adore this book. are doing this book also. So if you're looking for two great resources to start your year off as a beginner and as a veteran teacher, just to have something new. And you have those classes where people just don't really want to be in the class, but hey, I got to take the class. I need an art credit. I'm telling you, and you will be able to intrigue the roughest of rough. And the sweetest of the sweet. It's just kind of like something for everyone. And so those are my two resources. Again, I am Randy Farino. If you all have any warm-up games that you could provide me with, I remember one time I went to the W and we did this warm-up game where we started off as clay and we molded into people and then we turned into um, some type of creation and we left the earth and came back. Different warm-up games like that. And when we got finished, it was like the most relaxing thing ever. Um, but we went through fire and water and all. So if you have any warm-up games like that or different scenarios that you can send my way, please do. Glad to meet you all, classmates. Glad to meet you, teacher. And I hope you all enjoyed this video and my resources. Thank you.